very good morning to this wonderful and bright Sunday, the 12th of September 2021, as we again embark on this new episode of bringing to you the Youth Feedback, a program that is here to address the issues that concern us as the youth, but also pick your mind on what you have to say regarding this very matter. For this very moment, we are going into the trigger to this very program, after which we shall come back and take deeper insights into the topic and subject matter of discussion. With the pronouncement and introduction of the second lockdown and consequent closure of education institutions, students had to travel back home, not affording to lose precious time at the cost of waiting until the end of such an unprecedented COVID-19 era. Higher institutions of learning announced the resumption of learning business, challenges notwithstanding. In their letter to the Dean of Students, carbon copied to the Guild President and the University Secretary, most government-sponsored students registered their pressing needs of rent in case of the hard-to-reach area students in better-off facilitated areas, hall accommodation fees, food, data, with Zoom, according to research, consuming averagely 888 MBs to 247 GB per lecture.
I am a student leader at MUST of the Mugosa, the Mbara University Government Student Association. We have undergone through very many steps. First of all, we wrote officially to the administrators about the LOA delay, but nothing was done. We tried to communicate, to call, making phone calls to these people, the responsible people. Nothing was done. We have tried all the means in order to alert the administration of the situation under which we are, the situation we are facing, but nothing has been done. And we have been facing very many problems. The reason as to why we wrote very many letters to them was to inform them of the challenges which we are facing. And these challenges include lecture. You find that the number of people attending for the lecture, the percentage, even is not like 50%. Actually, it might be 20%, meaning that our fellows are missing out on lectures, and we are wondering, we are coming towards the end of the lecture and they are not attending and they are going to sit for the lecture. What will they write in the exams? And this will result into retakes and getting a degree, a class of degree, which one was not supposed to get. And another thing, due to delay of LOA, most people have decided to borrow money from friends to use to cater for them during this time. And we are worrying, if this delays so much, what will happen to them? Because they are not having food, they are not having the landlords, and landlords are in need of money, and nothing they have been paid. Some of them requested to remove their properties from the houses. So they are very far from campus due to this lockdown, and they are being chased. The landlord, what they are doing, they are asking for money, of which the money they don't have it. So we are wondering of their status, what they are facing.
You watching
as if in another letter dated 3rd August 2021, written to the Guild President by the University Secretary, answering a response, or giving a response indicating how the government had reduced funding and therefore funding to run university activities, and therefore living allowances not included. But he then promised to work out an appeal to the Ministry of Finance over the matter, which students should be expectant. Key questions to ponder on are: can students afford to continue missing lectures at the weight of their money? With exams loomingly approaching, What kind of results can we expect? Is it even time for students to get aid from elsewhere and leave the government to provide theirs?
You.
Hello, I'm the Honorable Minister, Publicity for Mugosa, and we have faced a lot of challenges. Some students deep down in the villages have shifted from there to areas where they can access power, where they can access network, and mostly they have failed to access or to get money to help them and conduct online studies. So I'm calling upon the government to release our money, specifically the Ministry of Finance, so that all the government-sponsored students can get their money in a time within a period of 1 week at least, so that everyone can access online studies, because we also know that these online studying is very expensive. Even it is costly, even it is tiresome, spending for the whole day while looking at your screen. So I'm calling upon the government to send us our money, and we sort ourselves and we do this work within a shortest period of time. Thank you.
On the flip side of that, private sponsored students don't seem to enjoy smooth experience either, as government hasn't come out clean to drop the functional fees that students are not using entirely. Where is the government's hand in this? What is at the root cause of not prioritizing these pressing needs? All this and much more. The youth feedback starts now.
Are you looking for new or refurbished laptops?
With
Or
the
do you need to
pronouncement
have your
and
PC repaired and
introduction of the
maintained?
second
Do you
lockdown
need accessories
and
for
consequent-
computers or phones? Are you in search of a printer or decoder? Worry not. If you're in Mbarara, you can now get all this from PAL Technologies. Find us at former Nakmat Building, room 14, or call us on 0777 525820.
Are you planning on having yourself a computer soon? Or do you need to get rid of that fault in your current computer? Are you looking for a trusted computer solution center in Barara? Try us at Think Innovation Inc. For new and refurbished computers, computer repair and maintenance, computer accessories, networking, software installation, and web designing. Find us at Western Arcade, room AF51, or call us now on 0753 97 5042.
A very good morning once again, and a very warm welcome from that very short trigger and short commercial break. And here in studio, I am Sama Msiwe, your regular host for this very talk show. And in studio, I am very much blessed to have distinguished gentlemen and a lady. And this is, I will start with Honorable Chiemba Musa, who doubles as who's a student leader, but also the GRC Gents Flat, whose most students, most government students are his voters for his position. Welcome to the program, Honorable Musa.
Thank you so much, Honorable Ahimbi Sibre. I'm very glad to be here with you. My name is, before that, a very good morning to all of us listening to us and watching us. My name is Chiemba Musa, the GRC for Gents Flat, and it is my constituency that has the highest percentage of government-sponsored students. I'm very happy to be here with you, and I hope to deliberate some of these issues today. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Musa. Next, on his immediate right is the only lady. You're welcome to the program. You can greet the viewers and also introduce yourself.
Thanks very much, Honorable Ahimsiwe, for this invitation. Good morning, everyone. I'm Felista Komhangi, the Finance Minister, Mbarara University Government-Sponsored Student Association, whose rights have not been answered, our our LOA has not been released, but we have been having online learning. For this time, let me stop from here. We shall have other issues or other concerns coming. Thank you very much.
And next is our very own brand, commonly termed himself as Omugorozi. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, our host tonight. My name is the Inomugisha Brian, the mouthpiece to the stewards, Omugorozi. I am the coordinator for Foundations of Education, a group of over 500 students at Bishop Stewart. I also double as the vice chairperson, the Human Rights Inter-University Club, and I'm glad to be here this morning.
Thank you very much. To the viewers out there watching us right now, we can never thank you enough for sparing your time to watch us and also be able to contribute to the plight of our subject of discussion, which talks about the missed lectures. We are looking at the insights into students' plight at stake. We're majorly focusing on functional fees, but also on the living allowances that are not yet here for the students, especially government-sponsored, to have at least their basic needs for them to continue with the online learning. You can therefore be part of this very discussion by sharing with us your opinion. We are live on Facebook. You can hit us with a comment. You can like the video, but also share it to your friends for further watching. And to us in studio, I want to begin, of course, with this very side of government-sponsored students. I will start with ladies first. How is the picture for government-sponsored students? What is the root cause of your mayhem of raising your voices to the government regarding your living allowance?
Thank you very much for this second chance given to me. Yeah, the root cause for this raising of our voice is due to the delay of LOA, and this is in the reference. Like that delay of LOA, we have made very many steps for us to raise our voice in order for the government or the administrators to answer our call or to answer our concerns. One of the things we did, we wrote formally to these people, the administrators. We wrote a letter and it was dated 11th June. It was calling upon or informing the administrator about the concerns of the students, the problems which we are facing. First of all, the problems that we tried to highlight out was rent. This rent, we looked at rent in this way. There are some students who are in localities which are difficult. They can't receive good network connections. They are not having good electricity supply, and therefore they have left their home areas and they have looked for the places where they can access all those facilities. So in that process, they are anchoring expenses and they are not having LOA. So most of them have tried to borrow money from friends and relatives, but as this online learning, they cannot facilitate. It has failed. They have failed to cope up with it because the money cannot support them throughout the entire semester.
Yes.
Another challenge is food. As they have left their places, they are facing a problem of food. You know that once you have moved from your place and you're going to another area, of course, stomach demands. Every day, morning to evening, one day after the other, you have to eat, because if you have not eaten, and food is life. So, meaning that we as students who rely mostly on LOA,
Yes.
our parents...
LOA is living allowance.
Yes,
Somebody
LOA
might be
is
wondering.
living out allowance.
Yes.
Most of us, it's true someone may ask currently having parents, but most of us, unfortunately, we are orphans. Some of us who have been helped by this, we are having the guide, those who provide the guardians.
Yes.
Then we have been helped by those people, the well-wishers. They
Yes.
have tried to support us.
Yes.
But immediately, they got to know that
government students are entitled to receive living out allowances. They have withdrawn their support. So they know that it is assured that provided you are a government student, you are supposed to receive that money. So due to that reason, you find as you are facing that challenge, you are not having LA, you cannot request for money from parents, you cannot request money from anyone, because they already know that you are entitled to that money. Unfortunately, we have not yet received it.
Yes.
Another concern is, since from the directives of the government, they we had open distance electronic learning, and this came around with expenses of data. You know that you have been having lectures online, and these lectures come in with high expenses of data, in that for you to attend a lecture, you spend like 2 to 4, 7 GBs a day. And unfortunately, you have been having lectures from morning up to evening. A day you find we're having like 5 lectures. What does that one come with? It comes with the students missing lectures. It comes with the students don't do assignments. And you already know that as the institution, there are deadlines which are set, and they have to be met by the students. Now you find the students from a far-to-reach area has not accessed the LMS, that is Learning Management System, where they upload these assignments and other documents. And you find that assignment is entitled, or that assignment is meant to be handed in after 2 weeks, and someone has spent a month without going online. What do you expect? Meaning, it means that student will not be in position to do that assignment. Apart from that, it will result into getting 0 in their courseworks.
Yes.
So that one automatically will lead to poor performance. And it may also lead to dead year. Because once you perform poorly, which type of degree are you going to get, and what are you going to take home?
Yes.
Another thing, after raising those concerns to the administrators, they gave us a reply, whereby they said, we'll be patient for some time, they are going to give us the support. Like the money will be released they were expecting the money to be released around September.
Yes.
We really kept on looking, but
a moment. Who are those who responded to your?
Thank you very much. Those letters were addressed to the office of the dean, the secretary, university secretary, because he's responsible for the finances of the university, and to the warden, to the office of the warden, and they are the people who are giving us the reply, and they are telling us to be patient. When nothing was done, we wrote the second letter, and we addressed it again to the office of the warden, of the dean, showing the impacts, and that was after 28th June, because we started the online learning on 28th June this year, whereby we tried to raise the impacts of this online learning, because now we have experienced, because we had already started the lectures, and we had seen the number of people or the number of students who were attending the lectures. So when we informed the office of the dean, the reply was, it is true, for them they have been engaging the Ministry of Finance about this matter of living out allowances, but unfortunately the money they received for the university, it was exclusive of the living out allowances. So we requested the university administrators, the dean, the AR, and the VC to raise our voice to the government and explain the situation in which a government-sponsored student is in. They told us again to be patient. We really became patient, and we waited. Another step we took, another step was, some of our lecturers started giving us online tests online assignments and whatever.
Was this
So-
following the directive or the way forward by the university that since we can't do mid-semester examinations, we can do tests to compensate for the...
Yes, the fact that we are attending online learning and online, they were, remember the semester was to end, is supposed to end on 16th October.
Yes.
So within that time, we're having, remember we have 40% of the 40% is catered for coursework.
Yes.
And 60% it is the one which we sit for at the end of the semester.
Yes.
So that 40% online tests, assignments, practicals are a part of them.
Yes.
So for you to settle for the end of semester exams, you have to have done all those.
Yes.
So the lecturers were trying to give us online tests so that that percentage is catered for. But unfortunately, some students could miss out. Now imagine 10 students sitting for that test out of 180 students.
Is that an estimate or that is the population for those who are on government?
It is an estimate. And they think it's not only affecting the government-sponsored students.
Yes, because
Even the private students, sorry.
yes.
So meaning that the attendance in those lectures is really very poor.
Yeah.
And to me, online learning has not been effective.
Thank you. You are still proceeding?
I'm proceeding.
Yes, as you conclude.
Yeah, okay. We made media posters and hashtags trying to sensitize
Yes.
the mass about what we are undergoing through, the challenges. We invited the media houses. Nothing was done. So we wrote another letter informing the university about what the students were planning on demonstration, a peaceful demonstration.
Yes.
We informed earlier the administration that students are planning to have a demonstration in line with the delay of the living out allowances. So those are so far some of the steps which we have undertaken to raise our voice. But unfortunately, we have not been answered. But we are hoping to be answered. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that good, detailed, and also bringing us up to speed regarding your efforts as government students. Now, it is clear that these challenges that you've highlighted are not only affecting government students, just as you said, also private students are facing the same. So it is from this point that I want to know from Brian, what are the students that you represent, those privately sponsored students, what are the pressing needs that they are facing?
Thank you very much, our host tonight. I'm representing the private students, but then they are facing a lot of challenges. Like they have told you, we are doing online studies, but these online studies are ineffective. They are not effective at all. First of all, talk of the poor networks. There is a challenge of poor networks, whereby some people are from hard to reach areas and they have poor network. So they cannot access, they all have to move from their places to mountains to look for network so that they can follow classes. And by the time one moves from a lecture to a certain place to climb hills, he's already fatigued. And therefore he cannot follow what is taking place. Then another thing, these online lectures are also a challenge to many because they are expensive in a way that they call in for equipment like laptops, they call in for smartphones, they call in for data, of all of which, now we are in a pandemic, our parents are not even working, but it is so unfortunate that the stakeholders of the institutions have not gone ahead to look into the matter to see how they can reduce maybe functional fee, maybe so that that money can be used for what? For data, so that students can access. Instead, they have continued to demand for money. They are interested in the money, not in giving service to the students. Because I think my suggestion would be if these functional fees were fully utilized, because at the moment they are unfunctioning functional fees. Because first of all, we are paying, the private students now are paying for medication fee. They are not accessing medication. They are paying for library fee. They are not accessing library. They are paying for transport fare. They are not sports. Talk of many things. They are at home suffering, trying to look for ends meet, but they are again fatigued. And I wonder how they will come to cope up with the situation. I want to give you an example of my class. I'm a leader of a class. I do English literature. We are a class of 65 plus students. But as I talk now, in a class, we started attending when we were like 20, but the number now has reduced to 12 students. Now how about the other percentage? How about other students? Why don't we also think about them and hear their praise? Therefore, I am calling upon these stakeholders, even the government, to look into the matter, at least if they can reduce functional fees, and then we pay on tuition, so that we can divert that functional fee into buying data so that we can access. And another thing is, I would suggest if the government can look into the issue of maybe providing public libraries in villages so that students can come up and access those libraries. They access reading materials, they put demonstration farms in villages for these students who may go of agriculture who need to do practicals, where they can access, because online does not cater for psychomotor domain. Psychomotor domain, this is a domain that calls for hands-on activities. For example, engineering students, you need to do things while you're looking at them.
Medical students.
Even medical students, you can't remain in online. They give you COA, then you need to mix bromine, you need to mix what, but you cannot access those equipments. At the end of the day, you're paying for them. So is it functional fee really, or it is unfunctional fee?
Yes. So in your idea, it would even be okay if you paid it, but holding it unfunctional fee?
Me, I would call for a total scrap of functional fee, or if they cannot scrap it off, let it be refunded in terms maybe of data. They can organize with these platforms, telecom platforms like MTN. They provide data to the students so that even the son of the peasant down there in the hills of Remigina or anywhere can access, and they go online, because majority are being left down behind, brother.
Thank you very much for that good submission. And I want to invite on Musa to address the fact that these challenges, especially for the government students that you will present, I must confess that not all of them are facing all those challenges that she has highlighted. But then, when change forces you to look for other means, you have to also adapt. Now, since these challenges are not affecting each and every government-sponsored student, do you think we can identify those who are facing those challenges mostly, and we help those as we wait for response from the government?
Thank you so much, Honorable Ahim Sibre. Once again, I'm called Chemba Musa. I'm the GRC for the residents in the Gents Flat. Thank you for the good question. Well, following the lockdown by the President of the Republic of Uganda, we realized that parents stopped working. Most of them stopped working. Yeah. And, well, even if they were to support, right now they are incapacitated. This means some of these students have missed out, definitely, like she has said. And, well, as a person, as a leader, I have talked to some of these people. Sometimes I have called them, and some of these people have not attended lectures. Yes. Some of these students have come to me personally, telling me we were stranded at campus. And yes, as students, as responsible students, we have tried to intervene up to a certain point beyond which we cannot go. And yes, we have forwarded the names at some point to the relevant offices, but the thing would be there is no money. That is the only song of the day, every other time.
Yes.
Day in, day out, no money, no money. It is very easy to identify these people. If at all they are really going to be helped, very easy to identify them. And I remember there is even a time a student wrote a letter to the Dean of Students at Must that he was actually applying for a dead year. I received that letter. I don't know whether he sent it to me accidentally. I received it via my email. And the student was requesting for a dead year. Reason being, he has not attended any lectures. Those students can be identified very well. And if they are really able to be helped, identification is not really a challenge.
Yes.
Well, she talked about, I wanted to add on something.
Yes, please.
Honorable Felista talked about network. Yeah. I think even the Honorable Minister for ICT knows very well. Uganda, there are some places where you are not going to have stable network connection.
Yes.
So these students who are residing in those places decided to relocate to better places. And of course, this comes at a cost. It comes at a cost.
Yes.
There is transport, there is food, there is rent, all those things.
Yes.
And, well, we are not saying it is only government-sponsored students, but even private students. Now, we at some point looked at an issue of functional fees, but then it was given, it had a blind end. So it was given it was given a cold shoulder. We looked at a point where maybe an institution could reduce on tuition, but then some of these institutions are saying they have no hand in influencing. Exactly. But well, you as an institution may not have an autonomous hand in influencing the tuition structures, but it has a say. And really, regarding the situation, it would be a win-win if maybe we said, okay, we are taking on this to favor these students. That would be a win-win. Yes. And maybe to add on something, a voice from my constituency, the residents. Following the presidential address that ordered National Council for Higher Education to plan for reopening of medical schools,
Yes.
Mbara University of Science and Technology complied, and we got finalists go first. Then we got also clinical going students following, and now we are waiting for preclinical students. Now, all these students, they have come to halls of residence. Not all, but those ones who are supposed to be residents.
Yes.
They have come to halls of residence.
So they are now at campus.
Yes, those ones who are supposed to be there.
Yes.
And, well, recently I received a letter after, of course, chasing to see how the university can reduce on accommodation fee. Well, we are proud, we are grateful that, yeah, there was a reduction. We came to at least a memorandum of understanding that maybe after if you stay in halls of residence for 1 month or maybe 2 months, you're going to pay this amount of money. But then the question is, with the fact that at the moment we don't have living out allowances given to students, where are these students going to get the money from? That would be the question at the back of everybody's mind.
Yes.
And in that letter, it is so intriguing that the administrators ordered students to call home, the government students, specifically government students, to call home, and they get money to pay accommodation fee for sleeping in halls of residence. of the university. These parents who have been not working,
Yes.
and students have not received living out allowance. Now the question at the back of my mind and at the back of everybody's mind is, where are these students going to get that money?
Yes.
Basically, this is basic knowledge. They cannot afford. And the condition is, well, if you've not paid it, you're not paying, you're not sitting for exams. I am pleading that the administrators should look into this, and we have a win-win thing, because, well, we have been affected as citizens of Uganda, and all of us have been affected. Let us look at a point where maybe we can say, okay, when living out allowance comes, you can pay.
Yes.
That is what would be the ideal condition.
Yes.
Not the fact that without paying, whether with or without living out allowance, you're not sitting exams. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that submission. To our viewers out there, thank you very much for watching and sending in your feedback. We are seeing Wesley Timothy saying hey, and yes, he's watching us. Amanya Edwin Butirima is tuned, and Ruben, who's also watching right now. But you can still share with us your responses and your comments regarding this very topic of discussion. But for our voices to reach the highest avenues of implementation, the only thing you watching us can do is forwarding this video to as far as you can, so that at least those real stakeholders can be able to get to know of what is pressing the students down at the grassroots. Now, Honorable Brian, I want to know, most of the universities have said that basing on the way government is reacting to these concerns, of course government is bureaucratic, institutions have come out to say, if you know you cannot afford, file in for a dead year. I would like to pick your mind, every one of you, regarding that. I will start with you.
Thank you very much. I wonder where our government is taking us, because if you say if these institutions are saying we file in for a dead year, then this one calls in for a lot of challenges. I want to tell you, the rate of juvenile delinquency is increasing. This is a case where you find that students are committing crimes when they are even under 18. Because they are there in the village, stranded, fatigued, they have nothing to do. Meaning that if we don't educate these students, they are going to lose hope. They go into things that are going to spoil them. Secondly, I think a dead year is not a solution. It is like adding an insult to an injury. Because I think if they can look into the matter of us, of maybe seeing the way how they can harmonize the situation, they provide what is possible in their means, then we all come back to the institution. They open the institution, because as I talk of now, Rwanda has opened, other countries have opened, even talk of international schools are working. So I think we are safe at school than in the villages. My solution would be to call upon the government to come in and intervene and see how best the schools can be reopened. We go back. If it is giving vaccination, let students be vaccinated. Because as I talk of now, a lot of money has been spent on COVID, making adverts, doing what, and those trillions, if they can be well utilized, they can help all the Ugandan students to be vaccinated, and we are all safe. We go back to our institutions, we get education, because an informed mind is the best mind we can have. Otherwise, that is what I'm looking as a solution.
Honorable Felista, what do you have to say regarding this very question? Because for the government, it seems to be considering another algorithm of prioritization in its business. But to us students who are passionate about continuing with studies and getting good grades, what can we do?
For me, giving a dead year could not be a solution to all of us. First of all...
No, actually, to those who cannot afford.
Yes, to those who cannot afford it. Once you give a dead year, you should look at the other side, the impacts of giving a dead year. When students are given dead year, let me talk on the side of us ladies. You find that you are given a dead year, you sit home for 1 year. And you know that we as ladies, most of the time we are taken by small things. First of all, you will find that we are stopped from continuing by many problems. For example, you may end up getting unwanted pregnancies. And that means that we are going to lose some professionals who would be of importance to us or to the nation. But due to deadlines, we end up being lost in that.
Regarding your submission, the president came out to say, at least you better get pregnant rather than dying. Because if you die, he was speaking that, talking about how it is better for you to go deep down even if you get pregnant as long as you are still alive. Wait for this pandemic, then you can resume when you're best in the position to do so.
Me, I'm not in support of that one. Why? Once you tell me, yes, I get pregnant, but you should also look into that one. You may end up giving birth to the child whom you cannot care. You even in the process of giving birth, maybe my life can be lost.
Yes.
So that is not the best advice you would give to us, that we should rather go for marriage instead of us continuing with learning.
Okay,
for me, what I'm calling upon is the government to vaccinate at least all of us, and we go back for learning, physical learning. Because for real, this is inhibiting our progress in the future. Thank you.
According to government efforts, by mid-October, we are expected to have sufficient vaccine doses for each and every student for us to continue with physical learning. Yes, Musa?
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Ahimbi. Regarding your question, I want to categorize students in 2-3 categories. The first category is private students. The second category, private students who are paid for by their parents or guardians.
Yeah.
Secondly, we have private students who are not paid by the government, and who are not paid for by their parents.
Yes.
They are paid for by some organizations.
Yeah.
An indicator that these students have made contracts, if I can tell it like that.
Yeah.
They have made contracts with those organizations. And the contract would be, we are teaching you for 3 years, 4 years. And another category that we have is the government-sponsored students. These students, by virtue of being government-sponsored, they have made a contract with government. The government has put in its effort to educate this student for maybe 4 years or 3 years, depending on the course they are doing, depending on the duration of the course. Now, if we say maybe a student who cannot afford should ask for a dead year, I will start with government students. One, is the government accepting to pay for the extra year? That is one question. Which is absolutely, it is a no. It is a no, that one we know it. Two, are these students who are privately sponsored by their parents, will they be able to get the tuition after the dead year? That is another question. Then, what are the challenges that come along after the dead year?
Yes.
There are very many challenges. We know them. There are very many, various. Then, what about those students who, by virtue of the fact that they are being sponsored by certain companies, made maybe contracts with those companies to be sponsored or to be catered for around 3-4 years? What if now the period extends for more than 4 years? What happens? Those are things we should look at. As an individual, as a person, as Musa, I would not advocate the fact that maybe we advise our colleagues to take the years, because they are coming along with various poor prognosis, if I may use that word.
Now, I want to, as we conclude and prepare to go in the break, I want to know from your own perspective, do you think a student should just follow whatever these institutions are advocating for regarding resuming online studies when you know that you are not able to fully equip yourself with the necessary tools?
I beg your pardon?
Now, for example, there is a student who clearly cannot facilitate online learning. Basically, he cannot provide anything like that one who sent that letter to you. Can you advise that person to not file in for a dead year yet he's not even benefiting, like he said, an indirect dead year?
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Himsiwe, for that good question. Like I said, these students are divided into 3 categories.
Yes.
A government student, like I can take a case in point, a student who wrote this letter to the Dean of Students is a government student.
Yes.
Therefore, I would not advise him to file in that because he's a government student for that matter. It means by the fact that he's filing in that case, by the fact that he's filing in for a dead year,
yes,
it means he has no other option.
Yes.
But as universities, as institutions of learning, they would have at least adhere to some other options. We looked at some other universities whereby, yes, they are saying we did not receive money for living out allowance, but maybe in regard to what we received, we can facilitate this number of students, giving them maybe this facilitation. So depending on the type of student this student lies in, I would not advise him to file in for a dead year, except if they have no other option. Like for example, you could be a private sponsored student and maybe you are seeing there is a dead end.
Yes.
The only option you have is to file in for a dead year. That one would be very fine. But where you have an option, let us use it. Let us use our leaders and let the universities understand that it's not our urge,
yes,
to let other students lose like that.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that submission, and of course clearing out that, because usually when you have hit the dead end, it is at least convenient and wise for you to at least opt for that, though it is not the best option at the moment. As we come from the short break, we shall be looking at the exams. Most of our semesters are coming to an end, and exams are coming, they are looming closer. And that means that insinuates that you have to have paid a certain amount for you to access those exams, as has been the policy of these higher institutions of learning. Also, we shall look at how some other institutions have gotten their living out allowances, and whether that means that we should be a little bit more patient. All this after this short break.
Do you have Uganda at heart? How about buying products made in Uganda by Ugandans from a Ugandan online shop anywhere, anytime?
Introducing GuzaUG.com, a one-stop center for Uganda's locally made products. Buy Uganda, build Uganda.
I am Ugandan.
How to tell the difference between real or fake honey.
Get natural honey only from our Pure Bees Products Limited, leaders in bee farming, bee consultancy, bee hives, standard honey extraction equipment, bee products value addition, and fumigation.
Find us in Badara City, in Tari Road, opposite Stanbic Bank, or call us on 0784-278172 or 0709-844134. You can also...
Yes, welcome back from that very short break. And before the break, we looked at first of all how the whole image was regarding the experiences government students are encountering, but also we looked at how some of the solutions and solutions to the challenges that are being faced to us, and we recommend that you also share with us your feedback by hitting our inbox and commenting, giving us what you think about this very issue. Before the break also, we looked at how some universities and other institutions have gotten their living allowances, among which it is assumed that good university received their living out allowances, and some other institutions have also received part, among which is Visitema and others. Is this a sign to show that we need to be a little bit more patient? I'll start with you, Musa, as we finalizing on this topic of discussion.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Msiwe. Regarding the fact that some universities received their living out allowances, I want to first trigger our minds. These are government institutions, and we must realize that yes, all the money is coming from the same what? Same government. However, these institutions have different calendars. For example, at MUST we are in second semester, and at Makerere they are still waiting to finish their first semester. Maybe in another university they are just finishing their first semester.
Yes.
So, I am comparing MUST with another university which we are in the same semester.
Yes.
I'll take an example of Bulu University. Well, they received their money, but the claim is that we have not yet received our money because maybe Bulu University received their money in the other financial year.
Yes.
That is the assumption that is, okay, that is what they are telling us. But either way, I am a bit convinced that since the start of the new financial year, at least we should have seen a sign.
Yes.
We should have seen a sign. Therefore, students demanding for their money, they are absolutely right, because it has been a long time.
The only very light sign that has been indicated is a promise by the University Secretary to say he is going to work out a way around that.
Yes, yes.
But that was in August, and up to now he's still waiting.
Recently I was discussing with the girl president, I discussed with the dean of students, I've discussed with the university secretary, and the university secretary has told me, yes, they wrote to the Ministry of Finance. And they are saying the only challenge they are getting is that the ministry cut the budget to the institutions to 40%.
Yes.
Yes, we understand. Now, our plea is now not to the university, but to the ministry and to all to governments generally. That yes, you could have cut this, but remember, there shouldn't be any student in this government who should call for a dead year because maybe they are government sponsored. That shouldn't be the reason, at least in this government.
Yes.
Yeah. And therefore, students are absolutely right to advocate for their living out allowance release.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
To Brian, of course, you are from your institution. You are almost doing exams at least by the end of October. And in your preparations to do those examinations, you are required to pay the full amount, inclusive of the functional fees. What do you think? What are your insights into the kind of exams that you people are going to do and the results from those exams?
First of all, I want to first highlight this. We are, I may say, most of the students are not ready for the exams because it is not important to find that the biggest percentage is not going to comply. However, if exams are to be done, I am calling upon the institution to allow students to first do exams. Maybe they can hold their results, but they do exams, all of them, minus putting this thing of saying that they first pay tuition, because we understand the situation they are in now. It is hard for them to get the money and pay that tuition. My suggestion would be, let them do exams, because what is important is the exam. And then they keep results. Maybe they say to access your results, you will have paid our amount. But when you say they don't access exams and they go in for a dead semester or they miss exams, it won't be the solution. That would be my submission.
Thank you very much. Honorable Felicita, what do you think are the kind of results that we are going to have from these exams and from this whole process of online and blended learning?
Yeah, my expectation is that we are likely to have the poor performance, if not the worst. Why? Because we have seen all the challenges the students are experiencing. Now, what really can you expect from a student who has not attended classes, who has not handed in assignments, who has not handed in coursework to get at the end of it all? Of course, that is poor performance. Although better late than never, for me, I would raise my voice to the Ministry of Finance, to the stakeholders, at least to release the LOA within this 1.5 months that is remaining before we sit for the examination, so that we can prepare within that 1 month. Because within that 1 month, we can access the gadgets we can buy for those ones who are not having. They can at least upload or download the results. And another thing, the students can be in position to move from the places of residence where they are to come and interact with these students who are at campus already through discussions and whatever. So they will be in a position to cope up with the situation we have at hand.
Then lastly to you, Musa, what do you think is the kind of fate regarding the kind of results we are going to get from this whole process? Not only for purposes of the transcript, but also for our future, because if you've learned maybe medicine online, I doubt the injection will go to the right vein.
Thank you so much, Honorable Himisiwe. I want to quote something, I want to paraphrase something. Something was written somewhere in South Africa on the gates of one of the schools that if you want to impoverish, if you want to make some place poor and poorer, then you touch the education system. The moment the professionals that are being produced are not up to what they're supposed to be, then what do you expect of us? The country is going to go down, 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 down.
Yes.
So, with that, what we can see is that some of the students have not attended lectures. They only receive reading material and read on their own.
Yes.
So you don't expect this same student to perform the way they were supposed to perform before. And of course, that is inevitable. That is inevitable. What I could plead to students would be, let us prepare in time and let us put in more effort, because we have to adapt to change. He who does not accept change, change will change him. Let us adapt to change and we prepare in time. Maybe something I could put in, I could chip in a little bit, for private students. I would request the institutions that they look at this solution. Well, I will borrow a leaf from MUST. For those students who have graduated from MUST, they know before you get your transcript, you will have to clear with all associations.
Yes.
You will have to clear with the guild. You will have to clear with
National Council of Higher Education, which most
everything.
people always forget.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, the question is, what does it take? What does an institution lose if they say, okay, with this period, students maybe they may not get tuition as expected. Why can't we do this? Maybe you're a finalist. Okay, do your exams, fine. But before you graduate or before you access the transcript, you must clear this money.
Yes.
That is an ideal condition. That is better. That is far better.
Yes.
It is better than denying a student examinations, because literally we are not like it's a must for me to do exams, what, but we are begging. Yeah, everyone sees this situation. People have not been working. Even students who maybe have been having side hustles, they were stopped.
Yeah.
They are now depending on what a parent brings on the table.
Yes.
And the fact that even parents, some of them have not been working, definitely we don't expect these students to clear tuition in time. Now, our plea as students is, yes, we saw a letter from the warden, the deputy dean, to the government students and to all residents. And of course, we know that the students will not be able to print out examination cards unless they have cleared that amount of money. But our plea is, let us be flexible,
Yes.
let us change with change, and let us try to be compassionate. Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Ahimbisiwe.
Thank you very much. As we are closing, I want to pick your final word on this. Assuming right now, not just assuming because this is going very high, this is a person who is in position to exactly give you the solution that you need. Somebody in the capacity of, can be the president or anyone, is watching this very program. Which final word do you have for this person regarding our plight as students? 1 minute each, and then we can close.
Thank you very much, Sam. Me, I would request that let the students be vaccinated, we get back to campus, then we push on with education. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being as brief as, okay, yes.
To me, first of all, it is an appreciation for us government students to be identified, our tuition being catered for, and for the living out allowances,
Yes.
because the previous semester we have been receiving it. However, we are requesting for the Ministry of Finance or any other person responsible to answer for our cry. Thank you.
Thank you too. Finally, Honorable Musa.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Ahimbisiwe. I'm going to be as brief as I can.
Yes.
Because if I was to talk, I could talk
Yes.
2 hours come back home. But my humble plea is to all stakeholders, please, these are students and the next Uganda, they are the leaders. Let us try to put them into consideration as much as possible. Let the students' voice be heard. That's my request. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Musa. Thank you very much, Honorable Felicita. Thank you very much, Honorable Brian, for sparing your time and coming to the youth feedback and sharing with us your mind and opinion regarding this very topic. We hope this is going, not just stopping at being addressed here, but being implemented in all government structures. And you, our viewers who have watched us from where we started from up to now, we can never thank you enough, and only God can bless you. Up to next time, stay blessed. You can rewatch this later on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you very much. Until next Sunday, stay blessed.
Are you looking for new or refurbished laptops? Or do you need to have your PC repaired and maintained? Do you need accessories for computers or phones? Are you in search of a printer or decoder? Worry not. If you're in Mbarara, you can now get all these from Pal Technologies. Find us at former Nakmat Building, room 14, or call us on 0777 525820.
Are you planning on having yourself a computer soon? Or do you need